Hello, family. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. It is August 4th. It is Tuesday. This week is going to be flying by, hopefully, because I'm already tired of the week. It's supposed to be raining every single day. I'm already over it. It was pouring. I'm scared that it's going to start pouring again because I still have to go pick up the kids. So hopefully, there go the thunder again. Oh, Lord. We have a beautiful show today, y'all. Peace to everybody in the chat. Austell Gray, Red Six, Reparations Nation, Eric Thomas. Um, Reparations Nation said it's a mess out here. Yes, it is. Uh, I just texted Amir and I was like, it's pouring over here. And he was like, well, if it keeps pouring, I'm gonna pick him up. And I was like, okay, well, they don't mind walking in the rain, but we gonna see y'all. So I titled the show Seeing Green because these people, I'm so tired. I keep seeing like nothing but jealousy and envy on the timeline. Like I feel like we've gotten to the point where it's just like people just can't control their jealousy towards us. And it's getting to a point where we can't ignore it. We have to call it for what it is. These people are just jealous. And there's no remedy for it. And it's starting to feel like they may have undiagnosed mental illnesses. Also, Grace says, I have to do calculations to find out when I'm going to wash my truck. I've stopped caring. I've stopped caring. Like if I see the car is dirty, I'm just gonna run through a car wash. That's it. I don't care if it rains as long as it's not dirty when I'm driving it. That's how it's gotten for me. Like I almost went to the car wash yesterday. I was like, "Oh, this car is dirty. Let me I yeah, I've stopped caring at this point. Like it's just, the rain has just been so unpredictable this summer. And I told Amir a couple weeks ago, I said it's raining in Georgia like it rains in Florida. I don't know how we got that type of weather now, but in Florida, it just rains. No one knows when it's going to happen, but it'll rain for like 15 minutes and then it'll stop. And then it'll look like it didn't rain. And then an hour later, it'll do it again. That's what's been happening in Georgia. So random. Good afternoon, Spud McKenzie. Let's get into the show, y'all. Let's get into the show. Of course, we got to start with some Black praise. We got to start with some Black praise. Black American Cowboys in Guthrie, Oklahoma. There he is.
Some people drive big trucks, some ride on cruise. I'm from Oklahoma, where them cowboys roam. Some people drive big trucks, some ride on cruise.
One thing I love about us is we consistently keep our traditions alive. That's why it's so crazy when people try to talk about us like we don't have a culture. It's like, are you serious? We have so much culture that most people aren't even aware of it. I was watching this video yesterday. We might have to look into it. Let me see if I can pull it up. But it was this I don't know, I think he was from Jamaica. Well, he was Jamaican. I doubt he was from Jamaica. But he said something like Black Americans, all they have is hip hop. Jamaicans, we we created our own culture from the African culture, and I found it, y'all. we created our own. We mixed with the Tainos and the Arawaks, and we created our own culture. And the Black Americans didn't do that. Like, are you serious? You really have no idea what culture is if you think that we don't have one. But yeah, people are just extremely jealous of us and they have to try to figure out how they can tear us down. And at this point it's like we kind of have to just start seeing them for what it is. But yes, I don't know if you I'm not even subscribed to them on this channel. But Seiji Hito, the second coming, I don't know who this person is, but their videos always come up on my For You page. So we're not gonna watch the whole thing, but I think in the beginning that's when he shows the clip. So we'll watch the clip. Fair use.
Don't tell me your experience at
So-
Club America.
That because
Oh, this is funny too. What? Listen to this. I don't know who these people are either. Just watch the video.
first of all, there's Africans over there, right? So the Africans are parading like the black men, right? So they got their New York hats on, right? But they're African. But when I walk in there and they hear my accent,
They
like,
know.
that's the one, right? Now you don't have to approach Australian women over in Australia. They're going to approach you. If you talk to the bartender and tell the bartender what you're drinking, they're going to hear your voice. They're going to come next to you. They're going to grab you. All of what he's saying is absolutely true. Club America was so crazy. This was my last night because I had been all around. I've been everywhere. And this particular night, they threw a party for me at Club America. It was insane. It was insane. And I had to fly out the next morning.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And I tell people about, Australia, and they just be like, I'm like, no, man, it's
serious.
A black man has to visit Australia.
My black friends would be, they'll kind of fall into that trap of like not being.
So before we get into this, because I want to watch this video too, the 154 podcast, because it's y'all. Eric Thomas, yeah, that's why I wanted to. I'm glad that one came on first because they, I think the melanated foreigners who have to flee and they, go shopping for new places to live. We talked about this. They use it as a gimme gotcha. Like, oh, we travel all over the world. No, you flee all over the world. Most of our family is in America. We don't have to go all over, trying to find somewhere else to live. So they kind of benefit from the fact that we don't travel as much as they do. So they pretend to be us in all these other places. But just like Cat Williams said, a Chrysler 300 looks like a Bentley until a Bentley or a Phantom pulls up. It's the same thing with Black Americans. You can cosplay up to a certain point, and it's only because most people don't see us all over the world. They see us on TV. They don't see us in person. But when we show up, they know they have to leave. So yeah, I've spoken about this so many times before. If someone is trying to pretend like they are you, they don't want you around, because once you show up, they start looking like the counterfeit. So that's why these people want us gone. And it's all people all around the world. The people that pretend like they created K-pop and it's not just 90s R&B, they want us gone. The Indians who want to pretend like they are they want to pretend like they're protected citizens of America. They're trying to step into our birthright. They're taking over a lot of places in our southern states. They want us gone. The melanated immigrants who want to pretend like they're the real Africans and we're the fake Africans, they all want us gone, because they're all standing in our energy, trying to stand in our power. But as we keep recalling and reclaiming our power from all timelines, realms, and dimensions, known and unknown, they can't do that anymore. Still Gray says everything looks like a Bentley until a real Bentley shows up, and we're the real Bentley. Everyone in the world is threatened by us. They try to pretend, they try to make fun of us and do all this silly stuff. But we don't have to do any of that because we know who we really are. Eric Thomas says, right, the vibe is totally different when the originals walk in the room. It's the same thing in the corporate world. You can immediately sense a tether from a Black American. That's because the tether is probably brown nosing. We don't do any of that. One thing about us is we try our best just to go to work and do our business and leave, and we get penalized from it because they want to be able to be all up in your business. They want you to devote a lot of time to the extracurriculars at work, like the team building events and the volunteer events, all the clubs that they have. Because I worked for Wells Fargo, so we had all types of clubs and events and all types of things you can get into. When I first started working at Wells Fargo, I was, of course, single, unmarried, no kids. I was all involved in all the stuff at work. That's what they want you to do, so they can be all up in your business and take up all your time. The tethers have no problem doing that because they don't have nothing else. They're not at home. They're not around their own people. They want to ingratiate themselves to that corporate structure because they want to move up. They want to make that their lives. We're not trying to do all of that. Our people have tried to do that, and we realize it does not work. So, yeah, let's finish watching a little bit of this video. We're not gonna watch the whole thing. Eric Thomas says the happy hours and the corporate challenge events and the weekend team bonding things. I know exactly what you're talking about. And they want all of your time. And it was so hard for me to like move up at Wells Fargo because they want you. I started working at Wells Fargo when I was like 26, 27, like in my late 20s. They want you fresh out of college, 22. This is your first job because they know once they get you that early, you're stuck. If they get you any later than that, they're like, you're old news. But I mean, I don't think a lot of the tethers, they care or they know about what the game is. And they're trying to game whatever game that they think they're playing, but they're not even playing the real game. Let's see what he has to say. I really want to watch the full clip about Black Americans rejecting Africa because it's really sad once you look at it, because these people really, it's like they're trying to guilt us or shame us for the fact that we don't accept Africa as our mother, because it's not. It's your mother because your parents are from there or you were born there, but we don't have that type of history. So it's weird. And I think that they feel like if they say this enough, that it'll become true and we'll end up looking like the bad guys. But we're not taking that seriously because we know our truth. They don't have to accept our truth. We don't care.
Being proud of being connected to Africa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I always tell them, like, if Africa was in a position, like a financial position, as like some European countries, you'd be a lot more proud.
No doubt.
Because you don't understand the history of how.
I had to cut him off right there. It's not because we're not proud of the position that Africa is in. That don't have nothing to do with us. We're Americans. How you're not proud of the position that Africa is in because you're not there. It's like they live off of Africa being some type of mystical fantasy that they can't be a part of. But it's your homeland. You can be a part of it. You have family members there. We don't. This is like a sick part of this destiny swap. It's like they're trying to make us accept Africa so they don't have to. No, thank you. Reparation Nation says, how many times we gotta tell them we just not African? Why are they trying to make us African? It's because of this destiny swap. They have to make us African so we're not who we are and they can become who we really are. Because how are we Africans with no living ancestors or living relatives in Africa, and you're American when your parents aren't even naturalized citizens? How does that work? It's a bait and switch. But we're not going for it. Austell Gray says, why do they think Black Americans are required to like Africa? Because we have darker skinned. I guess. I don't there's no other reason why. They're trying to pretend like we have some type of unity around um our skin color, and that's just not how things work. And they were tricking us into believing that for so many years, but now we see that that's not the truth. Hey, the Church of Black Power, shalom and salute, family, Niger representation, Austell Gray. Thank you for stopping in. I was watching your channel the other day. But yeah, let's finish what he has to say, because it's a lot of cope.
Things are right.
Yeah.
But in college, I was, you know, a lot of my Black friends, I was born in the States. They were like trying to be connected to Africa. So I love that switch that happened. Even like now when people do their 23andMe, they're like, oh, I want to my 23andMe. Like, oh, yo, Chin.
I love it.
But this, I'm 20% Nigerian.
They get their
He's around a lot of low ethnic esteem Black folks, because the rest of us not trying to do that, and we do not care. I don't have to have any fake connection to a place I've never been for me to feel like I'm connected to you. Who are you? And you see this fool Godfrey got on this Michael Jackson shirt. I can't stand him.
I hype him up. I'm like, yeah, man, you are, bro. You know what I mean? Because I'll tell them, like, even like Nigerians, like, we didn't draw those lines. We didn't carve out our country. White people did that. Yeah. So like, I like, if you don't even know what country you're from, claim all of it, bro.
Word.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
do you hear this? These people are sick. He said, if you don't know which country you're from, claim all of it. Mind you, he's not in Africa. He's not in Nigeria. Y'all, this don't make no sense. It's like they want us to be as mentally ill as they are. We have to stay in reality, because if we don't, we will be lost and confused like them. These people don't mind. They don't care giving away their birthright. They can call themselves Nigerians, but we already know Nigeria is not even older than my daddy. Talking about we didn't draw those lines, but you allowed your countries to be carved up like a pizza. And now y'all are coming here trying to tell us who we are, when we have like at least 200 to 300 years on you cognitively. Eric Thomas says, I follow an animated YouTube channel that talks about real issues, what you described, the 80K year corporate trap. They hire a 22-year-old, get them invested, keep them keep them invested by paying them 80K. Now they're stuck. Right. Because that's what they'll do. And I saw them doing that when I was at Wells Fargo. Like, there were programs that I was trying to get into that I couldn't get into, but they would allow like a 22-year-old fresh out of college in that program. So yeah, that's what they do. They go around to all the colleges, they recruit people, and they don't even understand. They get that 80K a year, and they're stuck at 80K for like 10 years. Thinking that they're going to get more. No, they're going to keep you stuck at that salary until you get tired of them. Also, Grace says, imagine giving away your DNA profile only to learn 50 years from now some corporation has a virus custom made for your descendants. That's exactly what they're trying to do. That's it. And then listen, he even said something about them giving away your DNA. Like, these people, they're not smart. They expose themselves so quickly. In one minute, they're trying to shame, blame, and explain us. In the second minute, they're exposing why they're trying to shame, blame, and explain to us. Reparation Nation says, I know, that's like me claiming Dade County when I'm from the DEC. Yeah, and it's so different. The cultures are so different. Like, even me growing up on the east side of Atlanta, going back and forth to Tampa where I was born, my cousins were way different. I remember, like, even the way that they wore their hair, they talked. We were like so different. I remember one summer I went to Tampa, and all the girls were wearing their hairs in this hairstyle called a fan, and they literally would put their hair in a ponytail and like pretty much like spread their hair like a literal fan, and like just spray it up And it was just that was the hairstyle. I was so shocked. I was like, I cannot believe. And I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. I was like, I cannot believe that these girls are wearing their hair like this. It looks so crazy. But we're all still from the same lineage. I was born in Tampa. My family's from Tampa. I just did not live there. But my culture was a little bit differently, just growing up in Stone Mountain, Lithonia. So yeah, like I said in the beginning, our culture is just so vast and so variant that these people they can't even just like latch on to one part of it. Like they can only compartmentalize it all into hip hop. And that's like not even the tip of the iceberg. The Church of Black Power says, I call it AI, African intelligence, and like artificial intelligence, you have to constantly correct it. They really don't know anything. They don't know nothing. And it's like we're so far ahead of them because we were built and fortified in the belly of the beast. So the things that we're aware of, they don't understand. And that's because they still have a primitive mind, but they're trying to cover it. They're trying to pretend like they've ascended out of that primitivity, but they have not. They're just pretending. And they always expose how primitive they still are. And that's what, like the Church of Black Power said, we have to constantly correct it. But I don't think that I don't think that they'll ever be able to catch up to us because they didn't have to go through what we went through. And they're in a position where they kind of got like fast tracked to become Black Americans in this country. And they skipped over all the things that fortified us. And since that happened, they're not going to be able to handle what America does to Black people. And it's because they still think that they have one up on us, or they're closer to whiteness than we are. They really think that they're a part of that buffer class. They're not gonna know what to do when their hand gets slapped or they get kicked back down to where they really are. A part of that is what we're experiencing now, especially with the Haitians and TPS. They thought that they were special. And now they're saying that they're not special. And they're like, oh my God, we need the Black people to fight for us. And we're just like, no, you had ample opportunity to join our fight. We're not joining yours. We're not joining anybody's fight ever again. Let's finish what he says, because he said something real stupid, y'all.
Yes, like
I absolutely love that, and I love that, for all the heat that 23andMe is getting for all the selling data. That's a whole nother conversation, right? Though,
how is that a whole nother conversation?
Though, for all the other stuff that it's created, it has connected us in a way that there was the disconnect where I am Leo, my mom from Louisiana, like whoa, but before then, you know what I mean? And it's this cool connection. But
these people don't even know where they were from before their parents became Ghanaian or Nigerian or Senegalese, but they want to ask us where we were from before our 10th time great grandfather was in Louisiana. It does not add up. It doesn't add up. The Church of Black Power says, look at the Haitians. They struggling right now, and they looking for a lifeline, but we can't give it to them. Everybody has to hold their own, especially in this new world that we are embarking in. We can't take them along with us because they didn't go through what we had to go through. All these other people will do is hold us back. That's what they've been doing for the past 60 years. We have not progressed in the way that we should have progressed after the 60s because of these immigrants. And it's not really no shade to them in a way that, like, I don't not believe that they don't belong here. Like, that's one thing. Like, I know that people move all over the world, people immigrate. I understand that, but they don't belong in our politics. They don't belong in our communities because they blur the lines. They're still searching for that proximity to whiteness, and we're trying to separate ourselves from that. So all they do is end up ruining our movements and confusing our messaging because they are completely antithetical to it. Hello, Marcus 11221. Also, Grace says, if I can trace my family back hundreds of years, why would I need to connect with people who don't know their great grandparents' names or people who don't know their actual birthdays? They need us more than we need them. And of course, there's going to be some of us that actually want to connect with them. I mean, connect, enjoy, but that's just not what we want. We want something that honors our ancestors and our lineage in this country. They don't want us to do that because it does not include them. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I don't care. I don't care because these people have no respect for us. The fact that they keep getting on this podcast and talking about us, talking down to us like we're just some lost Africans who don't know who we are, where we're from. That's y'all. That's not us. If you want to make Africa your identity while living in America, have at it, but we're not doing that.
But I also think too, like even with the first time for me going back home, going to Lagos, and I just remember we were staying at Echo Hotel, and I remember stepping out to the beach, and I'm going, I had never seen pictures like this. It was always
they couldn't show you
the most destitute.
Yeah,
it was always the most
purposely done.
I mean, I was like, the hotel was amazing.
Yeah.
This is an African. This is an African saying this, that he pretty much subscribed to the same propaganda that white Europeans were disseminating all over the world. An actual African is saying this. Your parents didn't tell you how beautiful your home country was before you visited it. This is what I don't understand. It's like they have a disconnect with who they are. They have a disconnect with the countries and their tribes where they come from, but they want to put it on us. We don't come from those tribes. We don't come from those countries. Why are you trying to project your own insecurity onto us? It's like they have to make it seem like we're more insecure than they are. They got to cut this out.
Yeah, by
The
design.
beach was
Purposely
amazing.
done.
I was like,
Yeah, now
I actually prefer the shade of brown on the beaches of Nigeria because it was like
they don't want you to go and tour there because they don't want you to see all the theft that's going on. You know what I mean?
And then another thing too is when I was there and making videos from Nigeria, I was making mad videos. I was in the market. I was just sending out video. Everybody was laughing. I was doing stuff with the hotel people, doing little sketches with them.
Yeah.
And they were like, man, you look so.
By the way, these people only feel comfortable in the places that are developed in Africa. They're not even talking about the fact that most of Africa is undeveloped. Most of it is undeveloped. Of course, most of it is destitute. You're going to the places where it's developed, and it probably wasn't developed by another African. It was probably developed by an Indian or a Chinese or somebody. But you don't even feel comfortable in those places that are destitute.
Happy. You were a pretty happy dude. They go, you look super happy. I go, and I was real honest because even when I came back from Nigeria, I went on stage. I said, I want to show you, man, I was really happy. And this is mainly why I said, because you guys weren't around.
wow.
They were laughing. I go, I'm not trying to be mean. I love y'all, but you weren't around.
Yeah.
You know why? And they got what I said. I said, because I wasn't thinking, oh, am I going to be looked at some kind of way?
Right.
Do I belong here?
Do y'all hear this? He's talking about visiting Africa and running into white people in the developed areas in Africa, and they're telling him, "Oh, you're so happy," and he says, "Because y'all aren't here." What? And he thinks that sounds profound. Like, are you really slow? You're choosing to live in America. You can live in Africa in a place where all of your people, but you don't want to. You only want to go to the resorts and pretend. Just like you're coming here and trying to pretend like you're us. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Hey, Kid Gravity. The Church of Black Power says because he loves the Nabisco that much, no matter what his parents told him, he believes in Nabisco over his own. You are correct. You are correct. Spud McKenzie says nothing about FBA is up for debate like everything with them is. Exactly. It's we don't have to argue who we are, especially the people that don't even know who they are. They want to get in their rooms and they want to talk about us while we're not in the room. Eric Thomas says their parents use their home countries as threats. They'll threaten their kids by saying, "I'll send you back to Nigeria if you don't get good grades." They do that. And then when they grow up, they go back and they go stay on a $500 a night resort so they can stay away from the people that they didn't want to be around when they was kids.
Then you're not gonna do a double take, because sometimes some white folks will double take you. You just walk into a restaurant, they go, yeah, we eat croissants. You know what the big deal? No, I'm saying, but it was like everybody was black. The police were black. Right. The police were black. It was just I didn't feel, and there were some whites there, but they weren't like a significant thing. There wasn't the racial tension thing. I was just waking up just not tense at all.
Do you hear how stupid he sounds? You went somewhere to stay on a resort for a vacation, and you're talking about there's no racial tension. Of course not, because you're not even in the places where your people are being subjugated so that these whites and these Asians and these Indians can live well. You're just like a white person in Africa when you go visit. That's why you don't feel the racial tension, because if you're in the same place that a white person is, they assume that you have enough money to be there. You're not like the rest of them. I'm so sick of Godfrey. He is Austell Gray. They don't even know how bad this looks for them. That's why I keep saying, like, we are way ahead of them. They don't get it. That's why they have to talk down on us so they can seem like they're better than us. But they say things like this. Hey, Nancel Speaks. Let's finish this, because this is ridiculous. I'm
Paul. Yeah. And I was like, oh, because I'm in, and that is the reason why they're trying to take over the, you know, and it's a shame, like you see like South Africa, you see something like South Africa where there is white tension there. In South Africa. Yeah. I mean, there's a town called Orania. You heard of Orania? Yeah, where it's an all-white town. They don't allow black people in Africa. Yeah. What the is that? Yeah. Oh, I make videos on that. So, I know. But I'm just saying that I go, and then when they tell you, go back to Africa, I go, I went and you were there. Yeah. He said, go back. You were there. You beat me. Yeah. You told me to go back to Africa, and you were there in the lobby. Right.
Yeah. The dichotomy is kind of different when it comes to Jamaica, because like in North America, Canada, or USA, you guys are kind of have to do with a black and white thing, and you don't know where your ancestry come from.
So I get where you're coming from on that.
Culture is based on like it's like culture. Here is like hip hop music and whatever, black culture, quote unquote. We have a country. Granted, it's run by some people, but we cultivated that thing ever since we came off the boat. And we mixed with the people who are there, the Arawaks, the Tainos. We cultivated a culture that came from an African ancestry, mixed with the Tainos, the Arawaks, and all that stuff, and we created this Jamaican culture out of many one people. I saw the month ago, right? So when Jamaicans that you speak to out there that say, "Yo, I'm not African," they're not saying literally, "Yo, my ancestry is not African." They're saying the culture that I grew up on, cultivated on.
I get that.
It's so far distant removed because of the atrocities that the colonizers did. So that's why we just claim Jamaicans.
Let me give you a round of applause for that one. So that was a good one.
Did y'all hear? I wanted to stop it, but I wanted y'all to hear that all the way through. Is he serious? He literally just took our whole story, bar for bar, flow for flow, and try to make it theirs while trying to denigrate us at the same time. These people aren't even in Jamaica. It's like they have to feel pride from the culture that they're not even living in when they leave, and make it seem like it's some defect of us because we don't have the same thing. It's so shocking. Like, how do they even think like this? That's why I say these people have mental illnesses, because that don't even make sense. The Church of Black Power says Google is a tether without a home. His his people, no, God flee is a tether without a home. His people don't see him as a Nigerian, and we ain't rocking with him. He's stranded on Tether Island. He is, and that's why he hates us. He's trying to pretend like he don't have no smoke with FBA only because he has a relationship with Tariq Nasheed, and they're both playing like politics, but you can tell he has a huge hatred for us. And it's because we were allowing him on Black Island, but we kicked his ass to Tether Island, and now he's upset because he can't benefit anymore. He looks crazy doing his little Black history videos and trying to say us and we, when we've already said you ain't none of us. Ain't no we. He looks crazy out here, and he's trying to punish us for it. Yes, Deandra, word for word. These people are trying to step into our places by trying to steal our narrative for themselves. How do we not know our ancestry when we've been here longer than you've been wherever you are? Because you know they're not in Jamaica. None of these people are in Jamaica. Slash Infinite says FBA all day, every day. Like, I'm gonna have to play that back, because what would even make you say something like this?
Right.
The dichotomy is kind of different when it comes to Jamaica, because like in North America, Canada, or USA, is you guys are kind of have to do with a black and white thing, and you don't know where your ancestry come from. And
I get where you're coming from on that.
Culture is based on like it's like culture. Here is like hip hop music and whatever, black culture, quote unquote.
That's why they're so confused, because the only iteration of black culture that they're even familiar with is hip hop. They don't even know that it's ever evolving and it came from something. So they're trying to act like our culture is only one thing. First of all, if that's your understanding, then we can't even have this conversation. You can't even talk about us. You need to shut up. Reparation Nation says, how he going to punish us with zero authority over us? He's talking about Godfrey. You know how arrogant these people are. They think that they have one up on us. So they think that doing this little passive aggressive stuff on their podcast is making us look away. No. And just like I said yesterday with Vic Mensa, these people, all they're doing is trying to reinforce stereotypes about us for their other tether audience, the tethers in their audience, because we're tearing down all of those stereotypes. The fact that we don't know our ancestry, that's a lie. The fact that we don't have a culture, that's a lie. But they want to keep pushing these things to each other because they want to keep that alive. They want the next generations of tethers to be telling this lie about us. They want our children to grow up saying that, oh, we're just regular black. We don't have a culture. No. We're at home. We're at home. You are on our homeland. They're going to start respecting us, because once they really start seeing how much they're on the outside, they're going to have to bend the knee. Deandra says, who is funding this ish? Nobody. They're not even funding it. Nobody is watching it. It only comes across our timeline when they bring us up. They probably have other shows where they're talking about their culture. Nobody cares. Not even them. But as soon as they start talking greasy about us and we get wind of it, that's when other people start seeing it.
We have a country. Granted, it's run by some people, but we cultivate.
He's admitting that Jamaica is ran by messed up people. First of all, a third of Jamaicans don't even live in Jamaica. Let's make that clear first. So most of y'all don't even live. Well, a third of y'all don't even live there. And you left your people behind to be lorded over by the Chinese and the Indians. But you have your own country. It don't matter if you have your own country if you're not there. I don't know why they think that's a flex. You're sitting in my country telling me that you have your own country. That doesn't make sense. If you have your own country, you should be there, right? You should be trying to make it better for you and your people, right? Because 50 years from now, you're not going to be able to say you have your own country. They don't care. They think that they're in competition with us. They haven't done nothing that we haven't done.
Cultivated that thing ever since we came off the boat and we mixed with the people who are there, the Arawaks, the Tainos. We cultivated a culture that came from an African ancestry, mixed with the Tainos, the Arawaks, and all that stuff, and we created this Jamaican culture out of many one people. I saw the month ago.
It's so funny when they say stuff like this because isn't like curry a spice that's prevalent in a lot of Jamaican dishes? Where did curry come from? They making it seem like their culture is like completely African and indigenous when a lot of their culture comes from the Indians that colonized the island centuries ago. They're slow. They don't even know their own history. The Church of Black Power says it's funded by DNC and the African Union and the CIA. This is definitely CIA. It has the CIA fingerprints all over it. Reparation Nation says, or have no power in it. They don't have power in it. That's why they keep leaving. A third of Jamaicans have left because they know they don't have any power. They can't even use their beaches. But they want to come talk culture to us. Why are you trying to talk culture to us? Nansel Speak says Jamaicans can't even access their own beaches in their country. They need to stop. They really do need to stop. Because we clearly know more about them than they know about us. Yes, Bill McKenzie, that curry that they put in their curry goat, in their beef patties, and other dishes, it came from India. So they can't even act like they have this culture that's just so rich and more Black than ours.
Right? So when Jamaicans that you speak to out there that say, yo, I'm not African, they're not saying literally, yo, my ancestry is not African. They're saying the culture that I grew up on, cultivated
not African.
on,
I get that.
is so far distant removed because of the...
Isn't this what we say? This is exactly what we say. I have never heard anyone tell a Jamaican that they're African, or a Haitian that they're African, or anybody else from the Caribbean that they're African. They don't even tell Brazilians that they're African. So what is he talking about? They just be making stuff up. Deandra says, oh, he gets it when he's saying it, but not us. Yeah, it's this cognitive dissonance that these people have. Because they're hardwired just to crap on us every chance they get.
The atrocities that the colonizers one people, I said a month ago. Right? So when Jamaicans that you speak to out there that say, yo, I'm not African, they're not saying literally, yo, my ancestry is not African. They're saying the culture that I grew up on, cultivated on,
I get that.
is so far distant removed because of the atrocities that the colonizers did. So that's why we just claim Jamaicans.
Let me give you a round of applause for that one.
Why are they laughing? Like, why are they laughing? Do they take their own culture and their own ancestry as a joke? We don't play those games. We're serious about ours. Eric Thomas says every other Black-skinned person around the world can separate themselves from Africa except us. It's because 2 billion people there are suffering and they need us to pull them up. A population of 50 million people in America. That's why it's crazy they be trying to treat us like we're their little brothers or something. They haven't done nothing that we have done, that we haven't done. The Church of Black Power said ticklish tethers. They always get to laughing. Especially when it's about something serious. What are you laughing about? Reparation Nation says their lies make them laugh. Yeah, it's like they were so impressed by how he put together that lie and that BS that they just had to laugh about it.
Oh, that was a good one, Fats. That was a good one.
Few things that I'm going to.
So yeah, this was a good video. Seiji, he told the second coming. Y'all watch it. Y'all can watch the rest of this video. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the chat because he had some great commentary about that. But shout out to him, because when I saw those clips, I was like, oh, we have to share those. But y'all, these people are so jealous of us, and it does not make any sense. It's like the jealousy has gone way too far. So now it's like they have to just keep making up lies about us. And I don't know what they think they're going to get from that, because they try to make it seem like we're cutting off our allies, but they cut us off. We were their strongest allies, and without us, where are they going to go? We saw that video yesterday about those Indians talking about the dissension between Black Americans and Black immigrants, and of course, they were taking the immigrant position. But when it comes down to it, they're not going to ally with these Black immigrants. They only care about their own people and their people from their caste in India. So, like I said, we were their strongest allies before they let the cat out the bag, and they told us what their real plans were with dealing with us. Spell McKenzie says that laugh from Ticklish Tethers is a hard acceptance of shame and failure. Yeah, it has to be, because nothing they said was funny. The Church of Black Power says to hell, hopefully. It's 39 people in the room right now. If you're watching from Twitter, please go over to YouTube and like, share, subscribe. At BATB Global. If you're able, check out the Zelle or the Cash App. I also have PayPal. Yesterday, somebody, Joshua Worthy asked if I had PayPal. Yes, I have PayPal. And my email address is themajorgallery@gmail.com. Let's keep going with the show. While we're still on Jamaicans, while we're still on Jamaicans, because they clearly they're clearly very confused about who they are or where they're from. or where they're from. Listen to this gentleman on a game show when he's asked a question.
Ocho Rios is a popular tourist destination on which Caribbean island? St. Lucia, Jamaica, or Trinidad?
So I'm from the Caribbean.
Great, whereabouts?
Jamaica and St. Kitts and Nevis.
Right.
Just a small island.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of Ocho Rios. And for some reason, I'm not thinking it's Trinidad. And I think St. Lucia, just because of the Lucia bit, sounds a little bit Portuguese/Spanish. And Ocho Rios sounds Spanish/Portuguese. I think based on that logic, I'm going to go with St. Lucia, please.
All right, we'll look at Lucia, please. Ocho Rios. Is it a popular tourist destination on the Caribbean island of St. Lucia? It's Jamaica.
Oh,
it's Jamaica.
I should have learned that.
Nathan.
Oh gosh.
On the northern coast of Jamaica.
Like I said, these people don't know nothing about Jamaica. They don't know nothing about their history, but they're here trying to talk culture with us. This man claims he's Jamaican. He didn't even know if Ocho Rios was a popular tourist destination in his country of origin. These people they are fleeing all over the world talking about, I'm this, I'm that. I have a rich culture. I'm from this place. They don't know nothing about it. They don't know nothing about it. And we've just seen too many we've seen too many examples of that today. Look at this. Untold History 2 posted, it is funny how Africans claim we get our American dance from them, but they manage to dress and dance just like Black true Americans.
Like they literally.
Look.
All right, so as you can see, these are Africans, and they are Memphis Jukin in Africa. I've never seen Africans do this before. I have seen Africans claim that this is rooted in African dance and all this other shit. It's just interesting how supposedly we get everything from them, but all I see is them doing what we do. Like they literally get everything from us. Like what we do is what they are trying to do. It's like they're trying to be us, not the other way around. We actually had to be indoctrinated to, want to be Africans or to believe that we're Africans. That's the difference. This is crazy.
It's really crazy because if you think about it, we were just here minding our own business. And then they started reclassifying us, and all of a sudden we Africans, and we have to go back to our motherland. But the people in the motherland, they watching us and doing what we're doing. Juking in Zambia? What are you juking for? You listening to Project Pat, you have no frame of reference of anything that he's talking about in that song. If you ain't from my hood, you can get from around here. You're not from a hood. You're from a shanty town in Zambia. The Church of Black Power says they're fleeing all over the place so they know nothing about their homeland. They know nothing. Somebody who's had never even been to Jamaica knows that Ochos Rios is a tourist destination. But the Jamaican don't. They trying to make it seem like we got everything from them. They are juking in Zambia. Do y'all see how crazy that is? Dressed like us. Where they even get these clothes from? Reparation Nation says, if you ain't from my hut. Y'all. But they want to treat us like we are their little brothers. Do we have to watch the Mace clip again? I think we gotta watch it. We gotta watch it. Because y'all, it just always becomes fair use. Everything that Mace says in this clip right here goes with everything that we keep saying about these people. He's talking about Jay Prince. But this is very tether coded.
And I'm gonna tell you another thing. When you're dealing with older people, they're the last to know that things have changed. We not your little niggas. Like the way you talking, I don't get what you mean. We're not your little niggas. Like for real, all that big homie stuff, that's for little niggas. Little niggas have big homies. We're not little niggas, so we don't even respect big homies. I know Killer doesn't, and for me,
Africa is not our big homie. Africa is not our big homie. These people, they are so far behind who we are and how far we have come. The only thing they can do is copy us. All they can do is copy us and wait for our next moves. They don't know our next moves. We're being divinely guided. We don't even know our next moves. That's why nobody would have been able to even predict what we did by separating and disengaging. Delineation, nobody would have predicted that. Well, none of them would have predicted it. They're trying so hard to stay ahead of us. But how can you be ahead of the people that you're trying to copy? It don't work that way.
I never respected niggas in the streets. That's why I always got the problems I got. Niggas would tell me, Mace, chill. No, chill for what? Who is this nigga? That's how I feel listening to this, man. Like, I want to respect you, but I can't. And I'm going to tell you why. Because If I got a little, like the dudes that raised me, if I was out of pocket, they would tell me I'm out of pocket. They wouldn't let me put them on a crash out mission.
And that's the thing, like these melanated foreigners, they don't even know that they're on a crash out mission. They really think that they're doing something to us. They can't do us nothing. Because like I said, they're trying to stay ahead of us, but they can't make no moves until we make a move. All these people are struggling because they don't know which moves we're about to make. We ain't even got to make no moves. Like I said yesterday, we have allowed the Most High to intercede on our affairs. We don't have to do nothing other than what we've been doing. They're just trying to wait and see what the next move is. Well, you got to keep waiting because you ain't going to get nothing off of us.
They'll say, yo, Mace, listen. Around here, we don't send niggas to do nothing for us. We don't pay niggas to handle our problems. You got to put in your own work around here, Lord, man. That's what you were supposed to tell them. You can't go out here and talk crazy and then send me on a mission. Nah, this is where the game got messed up when young niggas started sending old niggas out. And just because this little ignorant nigga got a few dollars, he make all of you that's supposed to be real run after his mission. This is a problem, Jay Prince. And I'm going to tell you like this. If you're 60 years old and you're trying to be a street nigga, you failed. You failed. You failed. You failed. I'm telling you this. And I stand, my name is Mace. I stand by this message.
Yeah, they need to do their own work and stop trying to work. They're trying to look on our paper and see what we doing. No. You need to do your own work. Because if you were truly copying what we were doing, y'all would be at home. But y'all aren't. Y'all are sitting up here underneath us trying to tell us who we are. We're not allowing that. The Church of Black Power says, be still and let the Most High work. That's all we doing. There's really nothing else that we can do. All we can do is continue to stay on our path, do what we're being called to do, and let the Most High work on our behalf. That's it. But these other people can't do it. Just like I said yesterday, they can't do it because they're not connected. That's why they have to look on our paper. B. Anthony Sr. posted this. A little over 90% of what this Black American brother said is accurate. Let's watch it together.
Black Americans don't realize they don't have a lot of descendants, or maybe even none, that's actually from Africa. If you do the research, I believe it was only maybe 388,000 to 450,000 Africans that actually made it out of the 10 million that were stolen from Africa. A lot of them went other places, and a lot of them died in transit. You got to think of the conditions they were in. Stacked on top of each other, nowhere to urinate and defecate without other people inhaling those toxins that are released over time. And some of them choosing death rather than being enslaved. Some of them just jumping overboard when opportunity presented itself because they would rather die than live as a slave. The original slave ports of Caribbean, which were where a lot of the slaves were taken first to be sold other places. Knowing that and understanding people that were already here. I think that's why it was always weird to me that Christopher Columbus got so much credit for discovering a place that was never lost. Like, how is something lost and there's already people there? For me, understanding that, okay, well, we do have some African lineage, but we have a lot of our grandparents come from native lands that were stolen from them. Dolls rose, and then after that, you had the literacy thing where blacks and natives weren't even allowed to read. Black Americans don't realize they don't have a lot of descendants, or maybe even none, that's actually from.
That's a fact. It's a reason why they didn't want us to read, because if we're reading the laws, which one of the main laws was if you have an Indian mother, that makes you Indian. They were trying to get rid of that. They didn't want us to have any claim to this land, but it's not their choice. They can't dictate who has a claim to this land. It's going to be ours no matter what. It's going to be ours. It is ours. They can't take us off of our land. Okay, y'all, I got a couple more, but then I got to go get the kids. Heal Within 96 says, Black people focus on soul, white people focus on control.
White people focus on control. White people focus on takeover.
Black people don't focus on that. Black people focus on soul. And where that soul comes from is family ties, soul ties, food, festivities. That's what bring everybody together. That round table, the big mama table, the big mama house. White people ain't got big mamas. White people ain't got OGs. White people out here playing in the basement. They mama working 12, 15 hours at the hospital. They down here trying to figure out how to put a pipe bomb to take over here and kill everybody. It ain't the same. You'll never find a black boy in a basement nowhere in America making a pipe bomb to go kill a bunch of white people. You'll never see it. You'll never see it, bro. No. You ain't gonna see it. So whenever you talk about tradition, culturalism, stuff like that, Black people just got that rhythm. That rhythm comes from a long time of being in the fields, a long time of understanding where culturalism comes from. Whereas white people just, they're gonna crack that whip, they're gonna put your foot on their neck, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna throw scraps at you. The thing about Black people, they knew how to take all that pain and turn it into purpose. They took all that pain and that suffering and made families. They took all that pain and suffering and talked about it around a round table. They took all that pain and suffering and turned it into fun. You see? White people don't do that. White people are all about control and takeover. So I just think the difference, that's the difference.
One thing about it, you talking about this white dude is from Tampa. One thing about Tampa, I'm gonna tell y'all, the white community and the Black community in Tampa overlaps in a way that I've never seen that in any other place that I've been in. And I'll just leave it at that. But yet what I've been noticing recently, and we've talked about it a little bit on the show before, white people are actually starting to tell the truth. A lot of white people are starting to tell the truth about Black people in this country because they know that they can't escape it. They can't escape the truth, and they can't escape the reckoning. Heal Within 96 also says they're stealing phrases created by Black people now. Look at this.
When you're white, you're never really alone. There will always be a Black person around that's all up in your business.
We can't leave them anything, can we? Take their land and their music, their rights, their babies, and now their phrases. I'd hate us too.
Y'all. you know something is happening when white people are actually starting to tell the truth about their own people and what they're doing. Maybe they were the ones to see it first, because obviously all of the immigrants, they're still lost. We did watch that one video with that Latino man who was trying to wonder what we were going to do with this power that we're getting. But these people ain't seen nothing yet. Eric Thomas says, yeah, I'm noticing the same thing as well. The Church of Black Power says they've been stealing it. But where we are now, it's like they can't continue to steal and not get caught, because there's so much evidence of the things that we started. That doesn't even make any sense. Black people are never in white people's business. Why would we be in their business when we don't want to be bothered by them at all? That doesn't even make any sense. She saw a video of a Black woman and she tried to take it, probably because the lady was probably blowing up on TikTok and she was trying to get a little bit of that TikTok money. Because that's what they do. Reparation Nation says we don't give any SHITs about what the whites are doing as long as they ain't effing with us. Exactly. Is she trying to destiny swap? Girl. But I do appreciate that she got called out on it by her fellow cracker, because come on now, this has to end at some point, and it's probably not going to end until they start really losing the power that they have amassed in this country. It's happening bit by bit. The DSA is taking their lunch. even with the Nolan Wells thing, we talked about that last week, how there's so many white people coming out in defense of Nolan Wells. Nancy Grace dragged Brandon Tatum from the rooter to his tutor last week because he was, trying to soft shoe and defend the white boys that allegedly killed Nolan Wells. So we're at the part where the truth can't be denied. And even the people that have historically told lies, they're coming into the truth because they know that their time is up. Nancy L. Speak says, the only time I'm in white people business is when they are clearing each other out on social media. Yeah, but you're even then, you're still on the outside looking in. They be trying to get on the inside of our business. The Church of Black Power says, and as long as they leave the children alone, absolutely. But they try to see our women and our children as soft targets. We talk about this a lot on this channel. None of us are soft targets. Play around if you want to. Eric Thomas says, you rarely, if ever, hear a Black American say, let's go check on those white people over there. Exactly. Never. You never see that. And if there is a Black person that does that, they end up missing, like Nolan Wells or our other children who were murdered by white people and have not yet gained justice for what has happened to them. Every black kid deserves the chance to grow old. Justice for Daniel Irving, justice for Juliana Zita, justice for Tyler Smith, justice for Nolan Wells, and justice for Cohen Wiley, who was shot by a police officer for absolutely no reason, and they tried to cover it up. James Baldwin said, every child, no matter where they are in the world, belongs to all of us. All of these kids' parents are trying to get justice for what happened to their children. Nancy L. Speak says, y'all, Nancy Grace hates a child killer. She still sends shots at Casey Anthony, and she should. And Casey Anthony, isn't she out of jail now? Isn't she walking amongst us? These people, they do the most wicked stuff, and they do not get the proper punishment for it. Well, y'all, on that note, that is the show. I love y'all so much. This was a great show. I really enjoyed it. Spud McKenzie says, white folks realizing their ancestors kicked the can down the road for them to deal with all of the harms they caused for centuries, and they know their actions with no accountability is pure cowardice. They do. But they also have, it's like a segment of them that want to atone, and there's also a segment of them who are, they're doubling down. They're doubling down. And what we're seeing, especially with Jake Lang got stoned by some Muslims up in Dearborn, Michigan. Did y'all see that? That is so emblematic of the end of white supremacy. They weren't able to keep their stronghold. Now they got brown people from all over the world invading European countries. They're here in America stoning white supremacists. They're taking over their political positions. And all this time they thought that we were the enemy. We're allowing it all to burn down. We're moving out the way because we have other things that we need to build. And what we build won't be for them. They can't come into the new world with us because all they bring is destruction, poverty, pain. We don't want it. We know we can create a world without any of that. So we don't need to bring that into our world. Reparations Nation says there ain't but one justice for these parents and they better go get it, period. Listen, couldn't be my child. Couldn't be mine. You already know what I would do. Because I'm not playing about Asim and Amina. Nancel Speak says she been out of jail for a while now. Isn't that crazy? You kill your child and you get to walk amongst the rest of us. The Church of Black Power says, be well, my sister. Thank you for stopping by. Spud McKenzie says, not stoned. They were throwing rocks at his ass. I'm telling you. If I find it, we'll watch it tomorrow. But they were throwing rocks at him. But they were also flying one of their flags, which is also problematic. But this is what they deserve. The white supremacists deserve everything that's coming to them. We just moving out the way. The Church of Black Power says a glutton for punishment he is. He just keeps setting himself up. He is such a clown. I bet you the builder is glad he's locked up. Because it would be even worse for him. It would be even worse for him. But y'all, that is the show. Thank y'all so much for coming by. I love you all. And we will be back tomorrow at 1:30 for another show. Assalamu alaikum.